The Waldnil was built by the Franciscan order in 1913, in Schwalmtal, Germany, as a hospital-school church complex that housed about 600 people with physical and/or mental disabilities. During the rise of Adolf Hitler's regime, the Franciscans were expelled and the function of the institution changed dramatically. At first, all adults living there had to undergo mandatory sterilization, a common fate for all unwanted sectors of Nazi society, such as alcoholics, schizophrenics, and people with congenital weaknesses. After the euthanasia decree of 1939, these people were also sent to gas chambers. The same decree also determined that all babies born with incurable disabilities should be subjected to euthanasia. Thus, the Waldnil became a slaughterhouse for children. At least 97 children are believed to have died at Waldnil, most of them after being given multiple doses of a sleeping pill over and over again. The process was long and agonizing, taking up to 8 days to kill. Children eventually developed dyspnea, choking on the abnormal mucus that was released from their mouth and nose. With the end of World War II, the facility was returned to the Franciscans, who decided to sell it to the federal government, which rented it out for various purposes. Since 1991, the complex has been vacant and for sale. Many of those who have visited the building swear by hearing the sound of children screaming and crying in its empty corridors. Maison Sanglant was located in Saint-Quentin, a small town in the Aisne region of France. The story begins in 1986, when a couple moves in there and, after a month, they begin to hear strange noises, such as moans and the sound of pans hitting, coming from the floor. At first, the two thought they were the neighbors, but things started to get weirder and weirder. One day the wife saw a strange, slimy red substance oozing down the kitchen wall. Was it blood? Her husband tried to calm her down, saying it was probably just old paint reappearing. Only when the phenomenon began to happen in other parts of the house did the two decide to call the police. The investigation came to a frightening conclusion: it was not ink, but human blood. The couple then decided to spend a week away from the house and spread flour all over the floor in every room, in an attempt to catch someone making a bad joke. When they returned, however, they found no footprints, just all the walls completely covered in blood. A priest was called and he gave the verdict: it was a work of the devil and the house should be demolished as soon as possible. When the house collapsed, the bodies of around 50 World War I German soldiers were discovered under its foundations. The photo above is of the house that was built on the site of Maison Sanglant. This popular Japanese urban legend tells the story of a porcelain doll who, after being abandoned by her owner, decides to kill her. With each approach it makes to its victim, the doll makes a phone call. And what at first seems like a hoax takes on a darker tone as the story unfolds. A family moves to another city, and their daughter decides to throw away a porcelain doll named Maria. That same night, the girl receives a phone call. "Hello, it's Maria. I'm at the trash can right now." The girl hangs up, but the phone rings again. "Hello, it's Maria. I'm at the corner store right now." The phone rings a third time, and a voice says, "Hello, it's Maria. I'm outside your house now." The girl plucks up courage and opens the front door, but finds no one there. It must be a prank call, she thinks. Then the phone rings again. "Hello, it's Maria. I'm behind you." This urban legend tells the story of a young woman, Mary Worth, who was very beautiful and spent hours admiring herself in her bathroom mirror. One day, Mary had a horrible accident and her face was so disfigured that no one could look at her directly anymore. Noticing the change in people's behavior, Mary decides to see for herself what had happened. In the bathroom at home, she musters up the courage to face the mirror, but what she sees makes her scream and cry desperately. She wanted her old face back so badly that she walked into the mirror, vowed to get it back, and was never seen again. To this day, she haunts mirrors, and girls can summon her, if they dare, by turning off the bathroom lights, turning her back to the mirror 3 times, saying, "Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary," and looking into her eyes. The mirror, where Mary Worth's disfigured face will appear. The creature, described as having a withered body, with an ugly face and full of wigs, has already been sighted in several cities in the interior of southeastern Brazil. A few years ago, it was seen on top of the wall of a cemetery in the city of Mogi Guaçu. I always thought this was history from ancient times connected with the cemetery, but no. I proved that Corpo Secco exists and I don't want to go there again, retired Maria Aparecida Soares Branco told the local newspaper at the time. There are many variations on the origin of Corpo Secco, or Unhudo, but it is known that he was a very violent man in life, even beating his own mother. When he died, his corpse would have been repelled by the earth repeatedly, and, denied eternal rest, become a haunt. The dry body would have the power both to dry trees and suck the blood of unsuspecting humans on deserted roads in the dead of night. The Cecil Hotel opened in 1924 in Los Angeles and became known after becoming the scene of countless crimes and tragedies. It was home to at least 2 serial killers and many of its guests committed suicide by jumping out of its windows. In 2013, for example, a tourist, Elisa Lam, was found dead in the water tank on the roof of the hotel. Her death was ruled accidental, but security camera footage from the elevator showed Lam acting strangely, cowering in one of the corners, almost as if she was hiding from someone. Over the years, people have reported many strange cases at the hotel, which served as the inspiration for the TV series, American Horror Story, sightings of a child outside a 4th-floor window, a guest who claimed to feel someone hanging during the night, and places in the hotel where the temperature dropped sharply without any logical explanation. La Llorona, or the Crying Woman, was a poor Mexican woman who married a wealthy Spaniard. After the birth of his children, the Spaniard lost interest in his wife and began to feel ashamed of her and her little social prestige. Then, in a fit of rage, the woman took all her children and took them to the river. There, she drowned the children, thinking it would please the Spaniard. However, soon she was overcome with remorse, starting to scream, mis hijos, my children, in Spanish. People say that, to this day, La Llorona wanders along the banks of rivers, looking for her children. And if she finds any children walking nearby, she will lure them into the water and drown them. The Chupacabra is probably the most famous urban legend in all of Latin America. It all started in the small town of Moca, Puerto Rico, where peasants found their sheep and goats dead, with no blood on their bodies and 2 holes in their necks. When the story hit the newspapers, people from all over Latin America said they had experienced similar situations. Some of them even claimed to have seen the creature that was killing the animals. According to numerous sightings, the Chupacabra is about 1 meter tall and has spines that grow from its back, going from the base of its neck to its tail. Although there are still reports of sightings to this day, no one has been able to prove the existence of the Chupacabra.